Welcome to the Anchor Your Retirement podcast. I'm your host, Barbara Gullen. Hi, Tony. It's been a minute since I've gotten to see ya.
Yeah, it is. It's been a while, been a few days anyway.
Yes,
Good to see you as well. Thanks for having me on the show. I've had a busy week. How about you?
same, although we did get to decompress in Colorado for a couple of days.
That's right. How was,
Yes.
it's one of my favorite states to visit. My family's favorite vacations have been to Colorado. Where did you go? What did you see and how was it?
Well, we thought we were going to get to hike a 14er, but the
Oh,
weather
wow.
didn't cooperate with that.
So you lucked
So,
out. That's
probably
the way I
because
would
the
be.
altitude got to me a little bit
Oh,
this
did
time.
it?
It
Yeah.
did. But we went to Castle Rock Canyon
Mm,
instead, which is between Denver and Colorado Springs.
yep.
And there is a rock formation there that looks like it is mooning you when you walk by.
Oh, no. The
Yeah,
rock formation needs to put on some pants? Is that what
something
you're
like
saying?
that.
Is that what
Yes.
you're saying?
Yes.
Oh, there's the beauty of that stretch between Denver and Colorado Springs, there's some
It's
beautiful state parks and
gorgeous. Yes.
national parks, and it is gorgeous, and there's a river that runs down. It's
Mhm.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yep, we were in Castle Rock State Park and,
Nice. Yeah.
you know, paid our $10 to get in,
Sure.
and which is not done with a human anymore. It's done with a machine, and you have to plug in your tag number and print out your parking pass.
Oh
Um,
my goodness.
yes, yes. Um, but it was just really it was gorgeous. Now, we also cut that hike a little bit short because we were watching storm clouds rolling in, and we were down in the valley near the creek and decided we didn't wanna be there when the skies opened up and poured.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think we've learned our lesson from the floods in Texas and things.
Mhm.
If you're next to a river
Yes,
or water and it starts to pour rain, you might want to get
it's
out.
yes, or if it looks like it's gonna pour rain. Because another day when we weren't hiking, when we were in Denver, it just the sky just opened up and buckets of water came
Wow.
down.
Well, that's
So
too bad that it rained while you were on your vacation there, but you still got to see some things. You still got mooned by rocks. That's awesome.
yes, yes,
Yeah, I've heard of
and
moon rocks, but
and
not rocks mooning. That's a
yes.
new one, Barb.
I'll text you the picture when we're done with the show. You can decide for yourself.
Yeah, because 'cause I've never been to that state park, but I gotta see that.
Yeah.
So, and the food was good. I assume you ate some
Yes.
good
Oh my
meals.
goodness. There is a local Mexican restaurant chain, Dos Los something. Yeah. Anyway, we went there twice. The food was so good.
Oh, wow, that's neat.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's good
Yes.
when you find a really good place like that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you, took a vacation. You seem, chipper. It was getting away a little bit is always good because I know you've been busy, right?
Yes, we have had a full dance card this year
Yeah, you
with
have.
all of the federal employees that have been trying to navigate all of these changes going on.
And the Women and Wealth,
Oh,
wine
yes.
events, yeah.
Yes, those have been fun too. But let's shift gears a little bit today.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we were bouncing around different titles for the show.
We were.
And I love your title. The mortality rate is 100%. And I laughed when you said that. What are your options? You said.
Yes.
I mean, you're right. It is better than everybody dies, or you're all going to die. That's a little dark. And if we joked about using that title, but then I would have had to
You're
say,
going straight to hell, you know.
you can't
It's
say
been a
that.
minute since you've pulled out sound bites on me.
Yeah, I thought I would use that one today, just based on the title of the show. But
Mhm,
you need to explain what you mean. Of course, the mortality rate is 100%.
mhm,
Everybody dies, but we don't want to call it that. A nicer way to
mhm.
say that is the mortality rate is 100%,
Right.
and hopefully that will shock people into action. Because what are you going to do about that? And people
Yeah,
might say, well, there's nothing I can do. It's 100% certainty.
right. But what we're talking about is how you protect your family in the event that
Ah,
you become part of that statistic sooner than you prepare, than you plan.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, people, whether it's cancer or accidents happen, things
Mhm.
happen, unfortunately, in life, and you don't wanna leave your loved ones and your family, your spouse and children especially, or
Mhm.
grandchildren or other, family members in a bad situation, right?
No, you don't. And, the the life insurance landscape now is very different than the life insurance used to be for our parents, especially for our grandparents. Um, and it's something that really in my opinion, needs to be an integral part of your overall financial plan,
Mhm.
if
Yeah, it
nothing
should be a
else.
part of it, because
Yeah.
it is, you can, get insurance on your life and on your finances for your family. It's basically insuring your nest egg for your family, right?
And also helping generationally. We have talked a lot on this podcast about how much money people have in qualified retirement accounts and how the Secure Act changed how somebody who isn't a spouse who inherits an IRA has to treat that money. They've got 10 years to take that money out, whether they need it or not. They can't stretch it out over their lifetime anymore unless they are a minor child when it happens or unless you're disabled. There are a few other caveats. But, when we look at that, we could be unleashing a very hefty tax bill onto our children or our
Mm,
grandchildren unintentionally. And, long term care insurance is something that has become very expensive, although statistically probably necessary for most people. So, how do we cover some of those bases? And the nice thing is that life insurance, when structured properly, when structured properly, is one of those multifaceted tools that we can use to really help preserve your financial legacy and give you an opportunity to create some generational wealth for your family, ease the burden of long term care costs if you end up being one of those people. My hope for all of my clients is that they just fall asleep one night and wake up the next morning with the creator that
yeah,
brought them here.
in heaven, yeah,
Yes, yes. If I don't get my wish and you've got somebody who's sick, when you've got a married couple, frequently the first person to get sick ends up consuming most of the resources. But the spouse that is left, because they usually assume a lot of the caregiving duties,
yeah,
gets sicker for longer.
yeah, yep. That's
And
the way it's worked with my mom and dad.
yeah.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
when those resources are depleted, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough situation, and it's expensive, especially if you end up in,
Memory care?
memory care or 100% long-term care where you need all the assistance, full
Yes.
care.
Yes.
Like my mom, it's $11,000 a month.
Oh, good heavens.
Yeah, good
And
heavens, what are you gonna do, right?
and
I
your
mean, that's
dad and
crazy.
your dad is an additional cost on top of that.
Yes, and he had to take care of her, and it really affected his health and
Mhm.
his emotional health, and well-being, and so now she's getting care because she's finally in the nursing home, he can't care for her,
Mhm.
but he's the one I worry about, he's worse off, she's
Mhm.
getting the care he needs, he's in assisted living, but just yeah.
He's stubborn, isn't he?
Oh, he's real stubborn,
He's a
yeah,
proud man,
yeah. I told you
and
the
there's nothing
stove
wrong with
story,
that. Yeah.
right?
Oh, yes.
No pill,
Yes.
no stove, no pills. He wanted him to turn his stove back on at the assisted living home, and he refused to take his pills until they turned the stove back on so he could use it.
Oh my goodness. Bless his heart,
Yeah,
you've got to admire that level of tenacity. Just saying.
yeah,
But When you go to an advisor, and I am an advisor, I am not your advisor, unless we visit with you one on one and have created a tailored plan for you, this is just general information and something to take to heart.
Sure.
Okay. It behooves us as advisors to look at all of those different aspects of potential care. And I like life insurance because if we're going with an indexed universal life policy or something like that, when you're in decent health, you don't have to be in great health, but in decent health going into the policy, you end up getting a long term care rider frequently that is included in the policy and that doesn't have any additional cost to it.
Right.
You've got the death benefit. So if something happens and you're in a car accident, you've got that payout. You've got tax free income building in an IUL that you can access later on in life. And that tax free death benefit, if your spouse doesn't need it to maintain their lifestyle and they've gone before you and we're passing it on to the next generation, and you still have a traditional IRA, 401k, money sitting out there that needs to have the taxes paid on it, that you won't be paying the taxes on now because you've hit that 100% mortality rate, but you're passing it on to your kids, that tax-free death benefit can help offset those taxes that they're going to have to pay.
Yeah. There you go.
Or it can be used to make sure that a grandchild goes through private school or goes to college. There's just a lot of options that we end up having when we incorporate life insurance into a financial plan that most people take for granted
Hmm.
or don't even realize they need it or think about needing it.
Yeah. So a lot of people now I've heard do use insurance that way, whereas, um, like, for example, my grandfather left some land in the farm to my dad, but
Mhm.
there's no liquidity, right?
Right.
And then there are taxes on all that farmland,
So
and
you
they
want
say
to
you're going to owe all these taxes on this
Mhm.
inheritance, but there's no money to pay the taxes.
No, so you
So
end up
so
having to sell off part of the land.
sell off the farm in order to pay taxes to
Mhm.
the kids that inherit the farm. So what a lot of advisors like yourself, a good fiduciary who's looking out for your best interest, said take out an insurance policy. I wish my grandfather had done this. He did not.
Mhm. Mhm.
He did not have you, Barb, to help him. But if he had had an insurance policy that would have covered the taxes, then you keep the family farm that's been in the family since it was
Mhm.
homesteaded in 1855. My
Yes.
grandfather grew up there. My dad grew up on that land, and I grew up on that land. There's
Oh
two
my
houses.
goodness.
So, and now because of long term care and taxes, might have to lose the family farm after all those years since 1855, all
Which is
because
a gut-wrenching story.
yeah, and that happens all the time with small businesses, with farms, with other things. But if you have an insurance policy that will cover the tax burden
Mhm.
for the
Or yeah, I mean, that's what insurance is for. We use
yeah,
homeowners insurance when something happens to our house.
yeah,
We use car insurance when we're in a car accident.
yeah,
What is more precious than your life?
yeah,
And even if you can't make the investment into an indexed universal life policy because you've waited too long or circumstances didn't work out, I still think that it behooves you to look at the options of a term policy,
hmm,
or at least to have a small policy in place that will cover the cost of your funeral. Funerals can run $25,000 anymore.
yeah. That's one thing my mom and dad did that I'm very thankful for is they've prepaid. They got a life
Mhm.
insurance policy through the funeral home that will cover the costs of their funerals.
Right.
Yeah.
And, all of those little things add up and end up helping and really easing the burden left on those who are left behind.
Yes.
So, I mean, I was talking to a long-term client yesterday, and they are delightful people, and I adore them. And all of a sudden, he starts rattling off all of these other bank accounts that he hadn't told us about. And they've been a client for years.
Hmm.
He's like, well, I
Wow.
keep money here and I keep money here and I
Oh,
keep
no.
money here. And I'm like, look, if you don't have transfer on death set up on all of those bank accounts, and even if you do, I hope that you at least have a list of these somewhere so that when you
Yeah.
pass away, somebody knows what to look for.
Yeah. Yeah, that can be a real mess, and my grandfather had some of that going on too, where he
Mhm.
had, CDs at, like, 5 different banks. It's like, "Oh my gosh. Oh, he heard about this great deal at this bank and put some money in a
Mhm.
CD," and, it
Mhm.
wasn't tons of money in each CD, but I'll tell you, it can add up, and it's all over
And
the
it adds up
place.
quickly.
Yeah,
And then, it doesn't get claimed, and then it sits in unclaimed property where it makes nothing.
yeah,
And then you have to go through all kinds of hoops with unclaimed property to try to get what rightfully belonged to the person who went before you.
yeah,
I mean, if you search for my dad's name, he has several pieces of unclaimed property in the state that he lived in,
mhm.
and it is virtually impossible to file the claim to get those resources that were rightfully his
Huh,
back into the hands of the family.
that's crazy.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
tough.
it's just and it's mind numbing the hoops that you end up having to go through.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah, believe me, I helped my dad when my grandpa passed away, and it's just
Mhm.
and they will do anything to drag their feet or not give you that money. They make you
Yeah.
jump through every hoop, and if something,
Mhm.
"Oh, the date was smudged on
Yeah.
this death
Yeah.
certificate, we
We
can't."
can't read that. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, that's you're gonna have to send it again.
Yes. So
Take
a shameless plug for the book we have out on Amazon, When I Die, Look Here First.
Yes.
Is a very economical resource where you can jot all of those things down. We have a new edition coming out in the next few weeks called Relax, I Left Instructions. Um,
Awesome.
that is a little bit more comprehensive. But, if you have not taken the time to at least inventory what you have and to look at what your resources are, that's when working with a fiduciary really ends up worth its weight in gold,
Mhm.
because a good fiduciary will help you gather all of your assets, consolidate them if it makes sense, so that your surviving family has a go to resource and they don't spend months, if not years, trying to track everything down.
Mhm.
And design a plan for you that helps you have some tax efficiency while you're still alive, because we all want to pay taxes, but realistically, who wants to pay more taxes than they owe?
Right.
And to help the future generations that will end up with some sort of inheritance, making sure that more of that inheritance stays within the family instead of going to the government entities and getting tied up in probate costs and all of those crazy things.
Yeah. There you
So,
go. Yeah.
the short answer is your options are universal life insurance, indexed universal life insurance, term life insurance, or a letter saying, sorry, I didn't do this.
Yeah, and the latter isn't much of an option if you actually love your family or have loved ones. So, but you don't want to just, oh, I can pick any one of those. You don't want to be overinsured or underinsured. You want to
Don't
make
just
sure
call the
you,
radio station advertisement that says they can
oh,
get you insured in 10 minutes.
or
Please
the
don't do that.
yeah, the or the TV ads that say for just 19.99 a month. Yeah.
Yes.
You're gonna be sorry about that. You really need to find out what's right for you and what you
Yes.
need and work with a trusted fiduciary who's gonna look out for your best interests.
That's why we're here. That's
Yeah.
why we do this. At least that's why
Yeah.
the good ones do this.
Right. Make sure you're using the right tool for the job, right? Because when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So if you walk into a certain big box insurance company, they're going to sell you one of their products, and whether it's the best tool for the job for you to meet your goals or not, it's going to be the biggest commission probably for the salesperson.
Yes.
Unlike a fiduciary who's going to be looking out for your best interests and say, no, insurance isn't going to help you here. You already have this over here. Maybe
Mhm.
you need to put money in this area or more money in this
Yes.
investment. So you have to look at the big picture.
Yes, we wanna balance out your risk.
Yeah.
We wanna try to plan for the different contingencies in life. It's the least that we can do to help you be prepared.
There you go. Well, Barb, great show, good message. Now, I know that you offer a no charge, no obligation consultation if people have
Mhm.
questions about this, or you can run reports and review where they're at, what they have, and you and your team there look over, okay, you've got this insurance here. Here's what this does. Here's what this means. Here's why this is probably a bad idea for you. And here's what's going to work for you. So, how can our listeners out there set up that consultation?
They can reach out to us by calling us at area code 913-553-6222 or go to our website, bgwealthmanagement.com. There's
All
a
right.
contact us form there. We'd be honored to help you figure out either if what you've got is good or to figure or help you assess any kind of course corrections or changes that we think would make sense.
Yeah, and there's a lot of resources, tools. You can schedule an appointment or look at what's going on,
Mhm.
upcoming community events at bgwealthmanagement.com.
Yep.
All right, Barb, great topic as usual. We
Good
all know
talking
the
to you.
mortality rate is 100%. It's good to know what your options are.
Yep. That's what we're here for.
All right. Thanks, Barb. Listeners, that does it for today's episode of Anchor Your Retirement with our host, Barb Gullen.
We'll see you soon.